Hello everyone, welcome to the program Gazali. We have with us today a very special guest, and it is my absolute honor to introduce her to you and to have this conversation with her. This is Deepti Naval, and everyone I'm sure knows her as one of the best actors that this country has produced. She's known for her unusual roles, the girl next door roles, the thinking woman roles. But talking of roles, there are a few other roles that she has played in her life, which are in fact closer to her than that of an actor. And today I'm here to introduce her as one of those roles and also talk about her various other facets. So welcome to the program, Deepti ji, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much.
And congratulations on your 4th book that has just been released. Yes. So this is A Country Called Childhood, which Deepti ji has just released. This is her 4th book. There were 3 other books, 2 of poetry and 1 of short stories. So this is the first, full form memoir that she has written, and it's got rave reviews everywhere till now. So Deepti ji, first of all, I want to ask you, what is it that made you an actor? I mean, everyone thinks when an actor will write a book, he or she will write about her or his story in the film industry. All the experiences as an actor. So what made you go the other way and write about your childhood instead of your adult life?
Yeah, I didn't want to do a typical autobiography because that's, it's expected कि ये तो करना ही है,
Right.
Autobiography, but it doesn't interest me. As a writer, it didn't interest me. It is like, just stating facts and, talking about your achievements, your failures, your successes. Somehow that didn't interest me as a writer. I thought the one phase of my life that I wanted to share with the reader is my childhood, because I thought that was very special. It is, those memories are also very, very vivid in my mind. And I was writing, I could have done a typical autobiography, but I wanted to write this like a novel. I wanted to write it like screenplay, where I'm showing everything. I'm taking the reader along with me through the corridors of memory, and I'm showing the entire ambience, the place, the people. It's a bit detailed, and because it's just the first 19 years of my life that I wanted to share with the reader.
In fact, that's exactly what strikes you when you read the book, that it is so detailed. It is so vivid. Everything just seems to come alive. The city of Amritsar, where you were born and you grew up, and when you describe the lanes, the by-lanes, the mochi sitting on the side, you're going to school, the cycle, everything is so beautifully described. So did it take you a very long time to kind of go back to all those years and get those memories and then put them together in the form of a book?
Yeah, it is a labor of love, I can tell you, and it has taken a lot out of me to write, because I've been working on this for years. For years? Yeah. I think the first 4 chapters were written about 20 years ago. Oh, okay. And then I just kept on, I kept on jotting things, kept on writing little bits without knowing how they are going to be arranged in the book. Okay. So my editor and publisher, David R., he helped me a great deal in giving it the form of and shape of a book. I just had all these flood of memories, that I was, went on writing, and I just gave him the whole bulk. Okay. I said, here it is, and this is all that I want to say. And then he had to structure it properly, and he helped a lot in making it in the shape that it is right now. So it's there was a lot of cross-checking of facts, because it's also historical. Yes. A lot of things are historically portrayed. there's the China War, the Pak War.
That's right.
There's the whole history of Indians in Burma, how they fled,
Exodus, yes.
how they fled Burma during the Exodus, how the Exodus happened when the Japanese invaded Burma during the Second World War, and all the stories that I had heard. I just wanted to share all those stories.
Yeah, so
from
that's
my
the thing.
life.
You know, so all these historical events are there, but you've not gone into their historical details. You've written about how it affected the people, which is your perspective. Your perspective.
Yeah, if I'm a 13 or a 12-year-old when the Pak War happens, then I've written how we kids reacted to this.
Yes.
You know, of course, the facts, the historical facts have to be correct also. June mein nahi, September mein hui war. I mean, that kind of things had to be correctly mentioned. So there was research involved in that. And a lot of stories then kind of led to other stories. One memory would lead to another memory.
Yeah, that happens, yes, with the trail of thought.
Yeah, one memory. And then I would remember something else connected with this, the one I'm writing. And then that becomes important because there is a prelude and a, you know, to the story I'm doing. So I think the process was long but joyous, as though it was cathartic also. Yeah.
Yes, I'm sure.
I made notes with my parents. I recorded them endlessly on tapes. I would sit with them and say, Mama, tell me this, and Pitaji would tell me. So that went. I was lucky. They knew I was going to write the book, so they gave me all that they could.
And there's so many other people also who are there in the book, and their stories are also there. So did you have to go back to them and get some stories? Did you have to ask permission from anyone to be featured in the book?
Oh yes, many permissions were required.
Yeah, I thought so, because there's so many people and they are, you know, even their personal accounts are there as you saw them. So you had,
though I did my personal account, my friend Neeta Devichand, she has family, and it's a very sensitive topic. I had to think like a million times before I decided that am I going to share this. But if I didn't share it, it would not complete the picture of my childhood. So I had to go and ask them. I had to show them the chapter that I was writing, and they said that yes, you know, you've tackled it very sensitively, so we have really no objection. Yeah, you go ahead. They gave me graciously. I mean, it took them guts to give me permission to.
Yeah, that's
family. Kisi ki family hai, so her sisters are there, both of them. They gave me the permission to write, and because they could see that I was doing a very, you know, I was concerned about her condition when I was writing and recalling her. So that was important. You don't just blatantly write somebody's like that or just judgmentally. No, it wasn't.
No, it's with a lot of sensitivity, and it's with feeling. You can feel, you know, the words of what she meant to you, and you know, the mark she left on.
I also wrote about, I've written about Neelam Mansingh in my school, and how there was a bit of a very excited, we juniors were very excited. There was some, like a scandalous, you know how gossipy, one episode in school life. So after writing it, I had to send it to her. I said, read it if you find anything. She's happy. She was happy. She says, yeah, go ahead. You have my permission. So
there's also a bit of mention of Kiran Bedi, who was also there.
Kiran Bedi was my senior. And she kind of prodded me to write poems.
Yes, I read that. She saw your poem.
She encouraged me. I wrote some silly poem, and I had to read it to her because she said, "Kya likha hai? Padho." So I was, you know, bringing that poem to my sister. I didn't know Kiran was standing right there with her. They were together in class, senior, mujhse. And she said that, yes, you've written exactly what you have felt. So please continue to write. With each poem that you write, you will write better and better. So it was very encouraging.
Yeah, it was.
And she had this personality from the beginning, very definite. She would speak to the point, definite, you know, not dilly-dallying with words, not knowing what to say, not trying to formulate. She knew what she wanted to say. She would be precise. And she had the strength, you know, Yeah, it was there initially in school. In school, yeah.
So I know when I read the book, it really resonated with me because, you know, it took me back to my childhood. Also, very importantly, you know, the small things you think they're inconsequential episodes in your childhood. But now when I look back, I realize how they have shaped, you know, they shaped the person that you are. And that's happened hugely in your case.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, be it as a writer, be it as an artist, be it as, you know, an actor too, because
yes, my mother, mother so and other people in the family who were so crazy about cinema.
Right, yes.
Yeah, I think I would give a lot of credit to both my parents, you know, my father and my mother, in shaping me the way I have, you know, my interests, my passions, you know, it's everything. It's somewhere comes from them. Father was a writer, so he wrote books, writing. I saw him, always I saw him at the typewriter in the veranda. He was typing away. He wrote a lot of short stories. Then, of course, his major work came later in America, you know, The Immigrant Psyche. He wrote a book called Striped Zebra. But my mother was a painter. And वो तो मुझे dining table पे बिठा देती थी and just sketch करो. And then she would teach me how to sketch. So my drawing, sketching, painting comes from Mama. She was a wonderful painter, wonderful painter.
You have some of the...
I have, this picture, this is the mosque and the terrace of my house.
Okay, yeah.
The mosque and the terrace. This is
There's a photograph also like that, I think, inside.
I slept on this terrace 19 years. All summers over here. And like I say, I was living within the walled city where the mosque and the house were just adjacent to each other. So the dome was forever there. The presence of the dome, So Mama made this painting. This painting is my mother's. Yeah, it's pastels and it's done by her.
But it's so nice. I mean, you lived in the city, Amritsar, which is known for, you know, Darbar Sahib, the most, one of the most iconic monuments in the country, the Golden Temple. And you have this mosque right next to you, and you talk so much about it. And you talk of your school, Sacred Heart Convent. So this whole community, Christian.
The church, going to church.
So it also just shows the times that we lived in were simpler, happier, without, and everyone lived in a lot of, you know, harmony and tolerance.
And then how, as a little girl, how I discovered the Sikh gurus.
Yes, right. The museum, you just happen to walk into.
I just walk in and I see this very stark image to me.
Yes.
At that age, it was really startling image of a man, of a soldier, fighter, you know, with a talwar in one hand and his own severed head. So it was something that... and then I got a little intrigued by, but of course, these are so many.
Yes, so many. You can't even.
The book is full of little things all over the place.
So one thread which is there, of course, and which also I think a lot of interest to our viewers is the thread which shows what kind of made you gravitate towards films. I mean, your beginning of the book says there's someone admonishing you and saying, good girls do not get connected to cinema, right? There's something
my
like that.
Dadi, she didn't want us, you know, going out on the street. I was 4 years old.
And then, you know, you started at 11, you met Balraj Sahni, and I think that's the time you declared in the book that I decided
at 8, at 7 and 8, I was fascinated by Meena Kumari.
Yes, right.
I used to think that one day I'm going to be up there, you know, but Balraj Sahni's visit to the city and my having been able to see him for real. I'd seen him in Kabuliwala.
Yeah, right.
So to see him for real and then to be able to get that autograph from him.
Yes.
And just to remember that persona, you know, this जो उनकी वो क्या personality उनकी थी जो that was impacted me a lot, and I thought that I will be like this when I grow up. To be an actress, I will be this kind of. वो भी था. And then my mother, she was always fascinated by, she always, you know, was interested in dance, drama, music. And I remember, though it had not It didn't take on any dimensions from the time that she got married and she had us. It was kind of, she put that aside.
Okay.
But I do remember, I have memory of her doing play rehearsal in the hall camera. I remember how, repeatedly she goes out and comes from the street entrance into the hall camera, and I see her with wearing a sari and that batua, and I mean, that's how plays are rehearsed.
Yes,
and I was like, I remember standing near the curtain and watching it so intently. What is the difference she's trying to do between one take and another? Let's
so
put
that's,
it in the cinematic
absorbing
language.
it very subtly.
So, and then another cousin, my bua's son, Indu Bhaiya, he actually, because he looked like Devanand, people told him, tum to Dev Saab ki tarah lagte ho. Arvind, he, of course, he was, he did look a lot like Dev Saab, you know. So he tried his luck in cinema. He fell ill. Some kind of a health mishap happened, and I think he did a few films, about 6 or 7 small roles, but he did, you know. And then he was very keen that I should join films. It was like he wanted to transfer his dream onto me, and he thought, okay, ye kar le, ye to kar le, ye to kar legi.
That's nice.
So
that's
yeah.
I'm really tempted to ask what was your family reaction when you joined films, but I won't, because that might be
I know.
Jumping and you
No, it wasn't easy, let me tell you.
Yes.
But since I was in America and I was studying there, I'd finished my college education, so at least my family's basic requirement was that education has to be solid. You have to. I mean, my father wanted me to go to Paris and study. Painting was my major subject.
Yes, right.
Study painting further in Paris. I would have loved that also. But वो बचपन से जो कीड़ा दिमाग में कि acting करना है, that kind of kept me. It made me pursue that कि नहीं, पहले एक्टिंग ही करूँगी, बाद में पेंटिंग एंड राइटिंग करूँगी, बट पहले मुझे एक्ट्रेस ही बनना है.
And a little uncanny, you write about the Jallianwala Bagh massacre in your book and how it so deeply affected you. And your first film was also Jallianwala Bagh.
It's about the massacre in Jallianwala Bagh. That was really strange. And when I saw this new film with Vicky Kaushal, beautifully made, they recreated Jallianwala Bagh massacre night for a good 45 minutes on the screen time. And it was beautifully done, And that made me think, I said, one second, my first film was also Jallianwala Bagh. And if you visit the the Partition Museum in Amritsar, that film is there. Uska ek chota DVD hai wahan pe. So
how did you come to do this film, Jallianwala Bagh? I mean, now after completing your education there and you were in New York.
I came to India for a holiday, and I started pursuing. I went and met Shyam Benegal. I met 1 or 2 other people. I think Rajshri Films, and also Rajshri Films and Shyam Benegal to begin with, And then I was offered a lead role by Rajshri Films, and I went back and I told my parents that I've been offered a film. So they were very surprised, because I'd never mentioned this dream of mine to anyone. They were very surprised. My mother said, nothing doing. We are living in America, there's nobody to look after you. Bombay akele, film industry mein, how are you going to do this? She was so adamant. She said, no. My father was more, he was more pliable. He said, okay.
Like fathers generally.
He said, okay, if you really want to do something that much, maybe you'll do a good job of it. So go try it out. I said, you give me 1 year. He said, you take 2 years, but if nothing works out, don't come back with any complexes. Just pick up from where you started. You're an artist. You can do anything. Go, you know.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah. So you went to Bombay alone. You shifted there, and
no, my bua was there.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was with my Savita bua that I first stayed with, and then from there things started.
Okay. Yeah. So you had a wonderful journey, right from Chashme Badur, Ek Baar Phir, and so many others, Kamala, and then. You also, you're a photographer also, you're a painter, you've had your art studio in Himachal with all your paintings.
My artwork is all in Himachal. I have a small little studio there.
Okay.
It's not a commercial gallery. It just hosts all my work. Okay. My film work, I mean all my film posters are there. You will see clips of various films. There was a young girl who curated this whole thing. She planted the idea in my head because I had my work spread all over the place. Yeah. Some paintings were lying in Delhi, some in Amritsar, some in Himachal, किसी ढाबे वाले की पिछले कमरे में जहाँ पानी गिर रहा है, and some in Bombay. So she said, let me do this for you, ma'am. That place you have, वो तो आप साल में 2 बार जाएंगी. Let me convert it into your art gallery. So she did that. And so my books are there. My archive is like a small little archive. Photography is there. All my paintings went to. We collected from everywhere, जहाँ बची हुई थी, तो वो जो मेरे collection में है, वो सब वहाँ है.
So now you live between Himachal and New York?
Yeah, between Himachal, Bombay and New York.
Bombay, these are your 3 areas.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
And you've had a long gap in between. I mean, not long, but you yourself said you've taken a lot of gaps. But now lately we've seen something of you, we after Listen Maya, and then we saw the, Made in Heaven. In between there were a few others. So is it now that you are moving back again towards cinema?
Yeah, because I'll tell you why those gaps. I did some very insipid roles in the process of making a living and sustaining. In Bombay and so one has to keep working.
Yes, right.
So there came a time when I felt, okay, I've secured myself enough. I don't think I need to keep on working, even though I do not like the roles. So I never wanted to do a single film where I didn't like the role, but I had to do some.
Right, yes.
Because they were like, वो ना होने के बराबर ही है, किसी गिनती में नहीं आते. हाँ, वो ऐसा unfortunately actors also, it's also our livelihood, so we have to keep doing. लेकिन I didn't also want to do typical हिंदी सिनेमा में एक मदर फिगर होती है, वो typical होती है. तो I didn't want that. I wanted to do less work, but let a role come where this mother, though let her be mother, she's mother, I'm playing my age, but let her be well defined. If you can't define her, if I ask them कि कौन है ये औरत, they say ma'am जैसी होती हैं, mothers sweet सी. So that didn't interest me one bit. I thought, no, I don't want to waste my time. I'd rather write, I'd rather paint, I'd rather travel, I'd rather trek.
Yes, your trek, of course. You've done the Zanskar trek.
The Zanskar,
which is your first woman.
First Indian
woman.
Tourist. Yes.
So I'm sorry if I forgot, from the painter, photographer, actor, author.
These are my,
and a trekker.
These are my, compulsions. I need to get out there. I need to be out in the wilderness. I need to walk a lot in the nature. I think it's वो बचपन से है. मॉम एंड पिताजी और मामा हमको ले जाते थे. दो महीने हम लोग कुल्लू वैली में रहते थे, और आगे कुछ सड़कें भी नहीं थी तब. हाँ, जब नेहरू जी went 2 years later and then the roads were built. हम उससे पहले से जा रहे हैं. So वो आदत, it's a addictive, to be wandering and.
So your सारे जो roles हैं, which is the role which really defines you as a person? Is it an actor, a writer, painter? क्या है which also gives you the most satisfaction?
Yeah, see, I love acting. I've always loved acting, and I thought I always wanted to be an actress. So that's that goes without saying कि वो तो मेरा रहेगा. But if you ask me what defines me best, then it is only through my writing that I can express myself, who I am, what I feel, what is my take on life, how I look at life, you know, and that is the closest to who I am. This book will tell you.
Yes, this tells, and I hope there is a sequel to it. There is a lot of life ahead, and I'm really looking forward to, you know, reading more of that.
I don't know if there will be a sequel, but yes, I will at some point. I have a couple of books to write.
Okay.
Still,
That's
yeah,
great.
yeah. But I will at some point definitely write about my cinema experience.
Right, absolutely. And you're also doing your daughter's film. I was reading Disha.
Yeah, I told her bring me a script.
Okay.
I think right now she's trying. She was trying some time earlier for me to do a short film, and then somehow things didn't fall in place. But now she's working on something else. So I would love to.
Right. Okay.
I love acting, as I said, so I will continue. And the only thing is that just don't want to do any stereotypical, non-happening.
Yeah, inconsequential.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah. So thank you so much, Deepti. You really look forward to more writing and more films, you know.
Yes, thank you.
You're back here, and nothing would delight your fans more, I'm sure. Thank you so much for this.
Thanks.